After spending some time thinking about what kind of video I should make today, I actually came up with an idea. Let's talk about my saxophone. This is an ADI tenor saxophone. ADI is a Philippine brand, but the saxophone is made in China. This saxophone costs around 500 US dollars or 28,000 Philippine pesos. Way back in 2018, I bought this saxophone for around $472. Well, it's actually not me who bought this. I received this from my uncle and my aunt as a gift. So the price was around $472. But the current price right now is around $500. If you're a beginner and you're looking to have your first tenor saxophone to learn on, and you're still not sure if you're gonna proceed to study the saxophone for a very long time, and I guess this is a very good saxophone for you to buy, because the price is very cheap, it's very affordable, and it actually performs well compared to the other brands that you can buy for this same amount of price. Now let's talk about the build quality of this saxophone. So for the build quality, if I compare this to other Chinese saxophones that are very cheap and you can buy for a lesser price or equal amount to this $500 saxophone of mine, it is actually better, much better than the cheaper ones. For the reason that the metal parts here are thicker and actually they hold on much longer compared to the other ones. Because my experience with the other brands as well is they tend to have leak issues and dry pad issues as well as build quality issues. Now I'm not saying that the build quality of this saxophone is perfect. I do had some issues I ran into after 1.5 years. So one of the things that I ran into is the neck octave key. Yeah, so this one tends to be removed after a year and a half. So, and I was actually in a gig at that time. So what I did was I actually ran to the nearest 7-Eleven store and I bought masking tape, and it was so bad because I just wrapped it with the tape. I sounded so bad at that gig, so it was bad. So I guess for a professional, if you're gonna play professionally, don't buy a Chinese saxophone that are very cheap. You need to buy a professional one. Another thing that I think are very bad about this saxophone is the rollers here. So this one here, if you can see it, the C sharp side, it actually rolls properly, but the one in the B is stuck. So it's very hard to move from C sharp to B. So for example, I play it, my pinky finger gets stuck. That's because this doesn't roll properly, so it's stuck here. And then another thing about the build quality is I think you can see the pads here, right? So for the pads, if you can see, right, the middle part or the one in the A note is actually a different kind of pad. Oh no, yeah, this one here, this one is a different color brand, as it is not an original pad already. I have it changed around after 2 years of playing with the saxophone. I'm not quite sure if it's the build quality or maybe it's just because I play in a lot of different places. I sometimes play in the beach for a wedding, I sometimes play in a very hot place, I sometimes play in a very cold place. So I do tend to have went to a lot of places, so maybe this saxophone is not built for it. Yeah. And then another thing is the distance. So this is my right hand. So the distance from F, E, and D to the tone hole, so the key to the tone hole distance is a bit too far for me, to be honest, because I've tried several professional saxophones already, and this one is a bit too far. So if you're a professional and you have this saxophone, you're gonna have a hard time, especially when you're playing fast phrases, unless you're already familiar with this one like I do. But yeah, it gets kind of annoying. Yeah. Also, I do have a leak problem with this one. The B flat here, as well as the G sharp, which tends to leak, to have a leak over some time after, even after overhaul. I've had this overhaul twice already. So my problem with this one is, after some time, the leak in the B flat will always come. I don't know why. Maybe because of my case, because I have a case. The case I use right now is not the original case for this saxophone. It's actually a soft case that I use. So yeah, maybe partly my mistake. And then in terms of sound quality, I can say that this one is a bit too thin compared to professional saxophones that I've tried, and intermediate saxophones. Also compared to a Yamaha YTS23. Yeah, I've tried that one, and this one sounds a bit like, what they call this, a bit thinner in terms of sound quality, especially for the low notes. To sum up all the things I've mentioned before, if you have the money to buy a very good saxophone, you need to go for it. Go buy a very good saxophone. But if you're a beginner who's not sure if you're gonna proceed to study the saxophone for a very long time, you can buy this one. You can buy a cheap saxophone if you want, but most likely you'll have it needed to be checked by a saxophone repairman, because most likely it will tend to have leaks. But for this current brand I'm using right now, it didn't have those kind of problems when I bought it. So for the first year of playing it, it was actually good. But once I played professionally, that's where the sickness of the saxophone just came. The leak problems, and I actually even had an accident with the saxophone once. It was a motorcycle accident. So if you can see, I don't know, you can see this is actually a dent. The pin here has been pushed deeper, and I had a problem with the octave key here, because it won't press unless I push the rod in all the way in, right? So yeah, but right now it works, so it's okay then, I guess. So if you have the money to buy a better quality student saxophone, if you're not sure if you're gonna proceed to study saxophone for a very long time, then you might as well go for the Yamaha or the Conselmer brand. But if you don't have the money to buy a higher price saxophone, then Chinese saxophones or the cheap saxophones are actually good. You just need to check it before you buy it, if you can. That will be for the better. Okay, I hope this video helps. So the question is, are Chinese saxophones worth it to buy? For me, it's actually, this has been worth it. 5 years. I've been playing this for 5 years, so it's all worth it. And then I guess that's all for the video today. I hope I helped some of you who have been looking for saxophones, especially learning about the Chinese saxophones, if are they good enough or not. That's all. Bye bye. See you on the next vlog.